Hey, you alright team, how you doing? Hope everyone is doing well. It's great to be back. I know I'm not posting as regularly as I wanted to, but I've been really busy with everything that's going on. But today we're going to be talking about what I wish I knew when I was joining the army. So there's two sort of things, there's a lot more, but I'm going to be talking through two things that I wish I knew when I was joining for the army and going through phase 1 training. Before we do that, give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. It really helps the channel, really helps the video. Click that subscription button if you want to stay updated with more videos on military tips, advice on joining the British Army, or fitness on how to get fitter for the military, British Army, or just general life. And I'd like to give a shout out to new channel member Liam and to Giles. So let's get into today's video. Like I said then, there's a couple of things that I sort of wish I knew when I was joining the army, so going through the assessment centre process, all the way up into phase 1 and then through phase 1, and then it can carry on throughout your career. Like I said, there's many things I'd like to have known, and I've done videos on my top tips and advice, and I hope these videos help people because this wasn't around when I joined the army. But I just want to discuss with you two tips or things that I sort of wish I had known. The first one being is just about fitness and training. So we're going to delve a little bit deeper into that and talk about what I really mean. What I mean then is I just wish I knew the sort of movements that I needed to know and how much I really had to train and push myself. I was 16 when I joined. I went through the application process and selection. When I was 15, just turned 16, so I was very young. I was only 16 in 3 months when I actually joined the army. So that's when I was in phase 1 training at NFC Harrogate, and I thought I was a fit young lad. I thought I knew about exercise and training. I used to go to the gym in school. I played a lot of football and many other sports, as a lot of us do at that age. And I really thought I was training. I was going out on these runs, and I was like, yeah, I'm getting fitter. And then I went to the assessment centre and definitely didn't perform how I wanted to, nowhere near. I was a completely different person back then to who I am now. Throughout training, I developed a lot. You know, I like to think that I'm very fit now, definitely above average, but back then I wasn't. I was like 6'2", only weighed about 70 kilos, thought I was fit and I just wasn't. So I really wish I knew how to push myself. I was going on like one or two runs a week, but they were actually only about 10 minutes long. That's how bad it is. So can you imagine the information I wish I'd sort of known back then? So I just wish I'd pushed myself to a higher intensity. 10 minutes was quite hard, and the reason 10 minutes was quite hard is because I just used to shoot out the block and just pretty much try and sprint for about 10 minutes, and I was like, yeah, that's enough. Go back home, and I thought I was done when I wasn't. And there's obviously more I need to know about that, but we'll talk about running for now. What I wish I'd known is 80% of my runs should have been pretty easy, but over a longer distance, to build a really strong foundation, especially with your cardiovascular system, it really helps being in the army to have a really strong foundation. So I wish that I know now I should have gone out maybe on 2 to 3 runs a week, pretty steady. You know, even if I could only run 10 minutes at the beginning, the first one being 10 minutes, next one maybe doing 10 minutes, and then the next one could be 12 minutes. And then each week add on 2 minutes or 5 minutes. And then when I was starting to build up a bit of a good distance and time, I could then start increasing the pace a little bit, even if I only started off at 9-minute miles. And then after 3 or 4 weeks, I was then comfortably running 20 minutes. I could then do that 20 minutes at 8:45-minute miles, 8:30-minute miles. And I wish I'd done that for 2 to 3 times a week. And then also on top of that, I wish I'd known about interval training, you know, fartlek and hill sprints, or just your faster runs. So instead of going out for a 20-minute steady state, go out for those 10-minute sprints once a week to really up the intensity, because you don't want to be pushing yourself all the time like that, because you're just going to overtrain and cause injury possibly, but you're not going to build that strong foundation. So if I was joining the army now, I'd mostly go on 2 to 4 runs a week, most probably 3 to 4 runs a week, incorporating a lot of steady state runs in. Like I said, if you're only starting off at 10 minutes now, but your assessment centre in the army, you know, you're looking at joining 4 or 5 months down the line, just add 5 minutes each week, or even if you only had 2 minutes each week, and then you can start picking up the pace as well. Just remember with progressive overload, as long as you're training harder than you did last time, you're going to progress, you're going to put stress and stimuli in the body, so you don't really hit a plateau and you're going to continue to improve. But don't just shoot out the block like you're Usain Bolt. So that's one thing I definitely wish I'd known. 2 to 3 steady state runs a week. Low intensity, just keeping my body ticking over, building that strong foundation. And then once a week I would have liked to really add in a high intensity sort of running session. So whether that be hill sprints, a hill sprint I like and I do with a lot of clients is find like a 30 meter incline, 20 meter incline, and you could do like 6 sets of 5 reps. So sprint up to the top, jog back down as your recovery rest, sprint up to the top, jog back down, do that 5 times, have 60 seconds to 120 seconds rest, and then repeat that 5 to 6 times. You're doing about 5 to 6 sets. What you could do 3 to 4 sets on one sort of incline, and then you can move to another incline, even if it changes slightly, and do it somewhere there just to mix it up. And then I'd add that in once a week, or I'd do intervals once a week where, depending on your level, so if you're still quite new to it, you could sprint for 20 seconds, active rest, so jog or walk for 40 seconds, and then you can increase the time where you're sprinting for 30 seconds, active rest for 30 seconds, sprinting for 40 seconds, active rest for 20 seconds. And then I'd recommend doing that for like 15 minutes at first, and then try and work your way up to about 20 to 30 minutes of that. And that's a really good high intensity workout that you could do there. What I also wish I'd known is about strength and conditioning, really conditioning the body, building a good core so that I could help prevent injury and get through phase 1, not only injury free, but also performing better. The stronger, fitter, the stronger core you have, the better you're going to perform. And there's 7 sort of like exercise and movements that I wish I'd known that the army are now pushing out there, but I'm sure some of you still don't know about it, that I wish I'd known about, that are really going to help you within your career, because these movements incorporate into your career, and they're the main sort of movements that you're going to do throughout your career. So these movements is incorporating the first one, which would be lunges, incorporating that into your workout, and this is definitely going to help you throughout your career. So when you're carrying a heavy load, you'll be patrolling along. When you stop, you're going to take a knee. Okay, you're going to lunge down, take a knee, and then you're going to step up. And incorporating lunges into your workout, building a good strong core and lower limbs is going to help you with that. You've then got hinging, so a deadlift sort of exercise, a rack pull is going to help you with lifting things off the floor, and especially for like sort of engineers as well when it comes to bridging. Then you've got your push, so just sort of like an overhead exercise, whether that be with dumbbells and military press. You could do it with kettlebells. It's going to help you lifting things onto man trucks or anything higher. Same with engineers and recce. Again, you could be lifting some sort of equipment above your head. You then got pull, so pull-up should definitely be incorporated into all your workouts. This is definitely going to help you with getting over a wall, especially when you've got all your kit on. Can you imagine having 20-30 kilos worth of kit and you need to get over a wall? You need to make sure you've got that pull-in movement. You then got squats, so when you're squatting down to pick something off the floor, whether that be a jerry can, some sort of ammo tins, or some sort of box with equipment in, you're going to want to squat down and do that. You then got brace, so this is having a good strong core to be moving across ground, possibly at speed with some sort of heavy equipment, or if you're in the Royal Artillery or mortars, it could be with ammunition, some sort of shells. And then you've got rotate, so this could incorporate using some sort of sledgehammer to break down something, or some sort of equipment to break into a door, especially with a lot of urban exercises and CQB stuff that we're doing now. So there's sort of 7 movements and exercises that you should definitely be incorporating in all your workouts alongside the running. You know, even if you wasn't running 3 to 4 times a week, I definitely recommend getting out swimming once a week. Yes, there is a swimming test which you don't have to pass on day 1. They do give you swimming lessons throughout, but swimming is so good. It's low impact, it's really easy on the joints, but it's a great sort of like cardiovascular training that's going to help improve your fitness. So alongside those exercises that would incorporate in some sort of like strength or hypertrophy training, you want to do some sort of like conditioners to ensure that you condition to help prevent injury. And these could be, say, after a run or like a high rep circuit. You could jump on the battle ropes, do 60 seconds on the battle ropes, and then do 10 sets of that. You could do 10 sets of a 10-meter sled push, adding in some sort of sprints, conditioners sort of like that, or you could do other conditioners. But that's definitely what I wish I sort of known, is I wish I was pushing myself to a higher intensity. What I'm saying is, you need to train more than you actually think you do. It's all about pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. People don't realise how far they've actually got to do it. They've sort of gone running in their own time, and then when they arrive to phase 1, they're actually struggling because they don't realise how much they actually need to push themselves. So definitely please incorporate quite a bit of running or some sort of cardio training within your training program. Definitely ensure that you've got strength and conditioning with a lot of core, overhead sort of work, overhead squats, overhead rear lunges, bracing that core with your planks, and definitely your side planks, dorsal raises to the whole midsection. You've got things like good mornings, stuff like that for your lower back. Really build up a really good strong midsection. Really, a strong midsection is going to help you throughout your career in the army, because one, you're going to be doing a lot of running and exercise, and a strong midsection is going to help with that. But then you're going to incorporate carrying a lot of kits. You're going to have webbing around your waist, and then you're going to have day sat, which is then going to unbalance and throw you off. So a good midsection with a lot of unilateral training will definitely help. So that's the first tip, is get out and train more than you actually think you need to. Don't just be doing the beat test every day, or running 2 kilometers every day 5 times a week, or don't just be going out running once a week. Get a set program, sit down and write yourself a program. If you can't, find a coach online. There's many out there that you can pay for, or a lot of us will give you free advice. I'm more than happy to try and give some sort of free advice, but I do take on clients. I do have my training programs over at Tactical Warrior Apparel. The link in the description, where there is bodyweight programs or minimal equipment training programs that you can purchase for $9.99 or $14.99. And then get yourself a training program actually set out. Train 3 to 5 times a week, sometimes 6 times a week if you really want to. Incorporate the running, strength and conditioning, and really push yourself. Increase that intensity sometimes, but about 70 to 80%, you can keep it nice low intensity, and then push it up once or twice a week. My next thing I wish I'd known, and it does get mentioned throughout phase 1, but you don't really sort of believe it, and no one ever believes it, just because they're a little bit scared and they think people will laugh at them, but they actually won't. And I've said it so many times in like my top tip videos and throughout my videos, it's just ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions, because I'm not going to lie, I went through phase 1 not understanding absolutely everything, and I know a lot of people within my section platoon and just throughout the whole of AFC Harrogate would have gone through training not fully understanding everything. And I've seen it in the recruits when I was there at Apparel as an instructor, and it doesn't matter how much you say it, don't be afraid to ask questions. That's why I'd go into their room on an evening or after lessons and be like, does everyone actually understand everything? Because we live in a world where there's a lot of banter, sometimes it pushes into bullying, but people sort of like to take the mick out of each other. It's just the way the human race is. But don't be afraid of that. Just ask the questions. Someone might make a joke of it, but I guarantee you they're making a joke out of it, saying, you don't understand this, why are you asking that sort of question? But I guarantee you they don't actually know the answer. And the instructor's not going to bully you or laugh at you. He's going to answer the question and help you. When he goes at the end of a lesson, has anyone got any questions? He genuinely wants you all to ask questions, but people just sit there twiddling their thumbs like, I don't want to ask questions. So that's just the one thing I wish I'd actually known and done more of, is just ask more questions. You don't understand it, ask questions. You don't understand it, ask questions. You still don't understand it, ask more questions. Okay, so really train harder than you think you need to, push yourself more than you think you need to. just because you pass the assessment, yes, it's a good base level, but try and push past that if you can, and then don't be afraid to ask questions. Hope you enjoyed the video. It's been great talking to you, and I'll catch you soon.